on the Cebu trip, that's the one where you're still taking off with 45 inches.
Yeah. And as I say, I didn't have the first trip I took. I don't know whether the airplane was late in other ways or what. Or maybe no ammunition or something. We just took off and made a little circle around the base where I had the trouble. But on this one,
everything was loaded down.
Yeah, she was loaded down all right because I used 45 inches of manifold pressure, and I went down the strip, and I went. I didn't use flaps or nothing like they usually use with a load. I can remember the nose sticking way up in the air, and that thing just left the ground and went right over the tops of those stumps, through the palm trees there out over the water, you know, with the nose way up in the air, and they made an extra circle, and I joined up, and we went out on that trip. That's where I didn't know how to drop the tanks. I might have known kind of how to do, but I was scared to touch anything because of the trouble that I had before on that first trip, you know. That's why I lose everything. Well, that's when they found out I didn't know a damn thing.
And on the Cebu trip, you had a chance to fire at the...
No, there was no chance there either. They just... Some of them took off after something and they just joined up later. There was nothing to it. But we came back.
You still tried to turn on the gunfire. You were wondering how. You were wondering how the gunfire...
I never did get the gun sight turned on. I mean, I didn't even know you had to turn it on.
Well, now, then later on was whenever you fired the gun once and you thought you were on fire.
Yeah. And then on the next day, 11 planes went to Lady, and I snafu'd, but later got off with the 35th. That means that something was wrong with the outfit, and I didn't get off the ground again. Something wrong with the airplane, I don't remember what it was. But then I got off with the 35th Squadron. They left after us. When we got to Lady, the 49th Group took over our planes and we replaced losses. The 49th were having a terrible time at Lady.
Mm-hmm. They were in the thick of it.
Yeah.
That was when Bourdow was with us.
Well, let's see. I don't remember if he was with that outfit. I think his group was 49. So you have to look that up too, these numbers. And we had about 20, after sitting around, that's at night where I spent at Wick at night, 20 to 25 airways during the night.
You actually were that many?
They just raided that place all night with small raids and phosphorus bombs. And every time the doggone, they'd come over, there was about 1,000 ships in the harbor, and they'd just fire. It was just fireworks. And an ammunition Liberty ship blew up in the harbor. And like I say, Hatfield crash landed on takeoff and burned his plane and lost his cap. Whatever, that's important. Then, I hopped the C-47 to Palelu Island. You just get back any way you could, and this plane was leaving that island, and it was not going the way I was going, but I got on it. I wanted to get out of there. So I went out to Palelu, Angar, which is out of our area altogether. We weren't operating up that way at all. Then I went from Angar to Biak on a C-47 and stayed in a transient camp. Then I hitched a ride on a cargo plane to Morotai, and I'm back home, see. We were just left. No airplanes and get home. That's all you could do, see.
And you had none back there either to speak of it.
No, they took our airplanes.
Yeah.
So. And then, when we come in to land at Morotai, we were held up by a C-47 burning on the strip. The camp was almost torn down. Equipment was then on a boat for Lady. Now comes the time that I'm trying to figure out just what was happening. Then you'll notice on the 8th there that Johnson and Pridham were on that Lady trip, and they picked up 2 P-38s from Biak, and they got caught in the bad weather, and Pridham never showed up. He got lost at night and never did show up. Well, building up to this other flight where I fired the guns, let's see here. On the night, 16 P-38 started to escort B-25s to Cebu, again turned back by weather. Flew a new P-38L. Now that's when I first flew the L.
What date was that?
That was on the night of November. So described here what happened on a raid on the field that night. We shot down some Jap airplanes on the strip, and the bodies thrown around. Now on the 10th, it was the time I had the first fight. Escorted as top cover 3 squadrons of 13th Air Force P-38 dive bombers to Lady to hit convoy off the west coast. On the other side of the island. And I went on here to describe the not too successful dive bombing. The one destroyer was on fire though. But they did drive him off and gave him a lot of trouble. And that's when I first fired the guns. And I said myself and Captain Homer attacked 2 Oscars. With Oscar was the little Jap fighter that were very numerous in the beginning of the war. No, they had, like tactical gear. But it was the Oscar, the little light son of a gun. That was a tactical gear. You're thinking of some of the others that had some of their...
It wasn't the Zero.
Yes.
It was Zero.
Zero.
But a type of Zero.
Yes. It's called the Oscar. And that was the small one that was so famous.
Yeah, the one that had the weak wing and the small cockpit and
yeah, it was
light construction.
Yeah.
The turn on down.
That was their standard, really their standard fighter in early in the war. After that, they had a lot of newer models around, but this was... And so we attacked these 2 Oscars that dove into the clouds, and we drove through and found them under the bottom in the rain. And we chased them for quite a few minutes and overtook them, I remember. Then when Captain Homer, he got one, and it partly blew up. And he followed that one.
Take her with you, will you?
I'm not going to do this cold ass.
She's been not doing nothing but howl all the time.
She's not howling.
You just walked in, she stopped. Go ahead.
And then I followed the other one, and I got in and shot at him, and that's when I first fired the guns.
And what'd you say whenever, what happened?
Well, I didn't describe too much of my feelings right here in this thing. Except mine went up in a loop and caught me sleeping. I mean, I had him in the sights all the way, but couldn't get a lead on it, see? I was too slow. It was a nice shot, but I didn't get a lead on him. Once he started to pull up, I never could get a lead. Well, I fired all the way around, and he spun out, and he went down to the water, and he actually did a spin when I was on top. Then 2 others got on his tail, and I got in a couple more bursts, and we chased him around for about 10 minutes. And with 8 of us firing at that guy. And he put up quite a fight. Ran down the water. And this fellow here by the name of Peters got him as I was turning into him again. And I had another 3 shots at the thing, but I never could hit him. Just plow water because he tight turned. He was smart. You get where you go right up to him and start to fire, and he'd turn, or you keep coming in fast, and you could make 1 shot and then use it. Well, it said here the flight took 7 hours, so that was quite a long flight. And that, as I didn't tell here, but I had called him after when I rolled out on top of that loop. I saw him go down as when I thought I was on fire. I could smell smoke, and I called and told him I was heading for land, and Captain Homer said, head for land, and he'd follow me. See? And as I got flying along, it let up a little bit, and then that's when I recognized that it was actually the smell of the smoke from the guns, which was just the other side of the firing wall. See? So I didn't tell him too much about that either. I told him, no, I guess I was mistaken. It was smoke.
But this was after that they found out about you were ready for one.
Oh, yeah. But, you know, here I thought I was on fire because I fired the guns.
What is it, cordite?
Well, it isn't actually cordite, it's just gunpowder, you know. and you can smell it. It's kind of strong in the cockpit because everything's enclosed and you can. I didn't know what it was because I'd never fired a gun before, and so I started to think of anything else on that doggone flight. Well, it was a whirlwind for me anyway, because we got into a little more fighting after that. Well, they were dive bombing. There was quite a few planes in the air, but most of them actually they didn't fight. They were staying out of range.
The Harris, they just keep you away from.
I guess so. A couple of them got in, and I guess 13th Air Force fired at a few. I don't know what they got or anything, but it turned out to be quite a scrap up there that day anyway. And then again on the 11th it took off for baffled. Escort B-24s, 200 miles out to sea. I lost my hydraulic system. An aileron boost, the P-38L froze up. Could not budge the ailerons. Coolant flap stuck open, returned, and ailerons freed when the boost was turned off. But I couldn't get the boost off for a while because the valve was, the pressure was up so high I couldn't get the doggone thing off, and I finally, I don't know how I did it. But then I had to pump the doggone wheels down again. No flaps and the short strip and the damn brakes were smoking, it says here. I called myself a snafu ace. Well, on the 13th we went to Negros, 800 miles. I developed an oil leak 200 miles out. The weather turned us back, lost some oil, but we would have lasted okay. I just know. Then I went to the line to give the P-30L a ring it out. I mean, what it would tell, we were testing out this hydraulic boost on the ailerons. We were having a little trouble with it, but I did not get up this morning because the ship was out. One flap would not retract. One dive flap. Johnson snafu, no hydraulic pressure, aileron was tightened up. And then I happen to know the trouble encountered in these planes, amazing, man. Get to feel I don't trust them. I mean, I was getting a little low the whole thing, you know, the whole business. I can remember at the time, I just felt like I didn't know nothing, you know. After that fight and everything, I just thought, I was really out of place. Then we went on a fighter sweep to Tarakan, Borneo, and that was quite a thing in the harbor there. That was another long flight, 7.5 hours. And at the time Buchanan is out of gas, must be down near the Celebes. Well, during this flight, we went up there to get these aircraft on the strip, but we got there and there wasn't any aircraft. And I was the last man on the flight, and I remember that we all took turns going down this strip at Tarakan, Borneo, shooting whatever we could see, which wasn't much. And there was no return fire. I was the last one, and I just went down across that thing and shot a couple of times. But then they opened up on me as I went the last one.
They were there. Just
Oh, boy. Yeah, they were just waiting until the last one got through, then they really let me have it. I don't know how I didn't get it then.
These faces coming out of it?
Yeah, but that's when you can see them good, is when they're coming from behind, see? They're just like bushels of them. They were really throwing it. And I got a note here, we blew up a freighter and sunk some barges and had a tender on fire. And we went out in the harbor then and just shot up shipping. So.
Did you do any bombing on the ship?
No, because we had tanks. It was too far. You couldn't carry it. You had to carry either the tanks or bombs. So. And Buchanan, I remember what happened is he flew through one freighter. When that freighter blew up, he was right above it. And a piece of pipe looked like a piece of, a steam pipe or something, about 3 inches in diameter and about 3 or 4 feet long, stuck right up through his horizontal stabilizer, and stuck there. And he headed back, radioed us, and I remember seeing his airplane, and the doggone thing was stuck in there, and it just slowed him up enough so he never made it back at that night. But he kept radioing, and call the cats, don't forget to call the cats, you know.
What were they? The catalytic?
Yeah. And John was running, yeah, we'll call them, don't worry. And then he kept, don't forget to call the cats. And finally we lost them completely, you know. And And we couldn't even radio anything till we got, within a couple of 100 miles. It was, another 3 hours
Where
or
did
so.
he put the tree?
So he went in, anyway, someplace way back. We left him.
Did he bail out?
No, I guess, yeah, he did bail out finally after a couple of hours after we left him. We went on because we got home with dry tanks. Just about made it. He went down somewhere near the Celebes, but it was all over water except you hit one land, about 800 miles, just one little island.
Was he the one that dropped his tanker? He just happened to go over it when it blew.
Yeah, I think he
wasn't.
I don't remember whether he actually blew it up or what, but it's possible that it blew. Most likely, when he fired into it, it blew, and he flew right through the debris.
He had what, 650 caliber?
4 and 120.
And 120 millimeter.
Yeah. But that's the one that blew up anyway. Then on the 17th, that was the 16th, on the 17th, Buck was picked up by the cat this morning. He spent a night at Malacca, in the Malacca Sea, bailing out. Fine piece of luck. And then his prism was never found. 7 hours and 15 minutes today. So I must have flown 7 hours and 15 minutes on the 17th, too. I don't remember what it was. Then here we heard of, then we went down to Noomfer. We heard of the move to go back to Noomfer. Then on 23rd of November, the biggest raid yet last night, about 8 bogies, and I was at a show on the hill at the Seabees. Started at 2000. Good view. 6 B-24s wrecked, 8 A-20s wrecked, large fires, bombs in the planes went off. Searchlights were good. P-61 night fighters don't get at them. A couple of P-38s could knock them out of the searchlights. Now, that...
What does that mean?
Well, the doggone anti-aircraft searchlights had these planes in the light. Now, I made that remark here on the 23rd, and later on, we did get permission to fight in the night. We had one good evening's successful mission, and then it was called off. It comes in here later. They wouldn't let us go up anymore.
Where did the Jacks come from?
Well, there was around the Manila area yet.
They were still in there.
Yeah. And they were all over the southern Philippines. You see, they were fighting at Leyte at this time, see. And the whole Philippines there was still, even there on Mindanao, there was Jack strips. Yeah, that's some, even Negros. All those islands had strips where they could stage from anyway, but up in Luzon, see, where they had most of their strength. But that was only 2 or 3 hours, for most, from their farthest places to get down to Leyte and everything. Then, 24th, another good raid last night, knocked out 4 bullfighters. Aussies getting hit. A-20s last night. Hit to a good raid last night. Again on the 25th. See? Captain Cy Homer and Lieutenant Jenner went up in the P-38 to try searchlight interception as an experiment. I was at another show with Lloyd, Peters, and Johnson at a movie. See, we were watching the hospital and someone else at a hospital on the peninsula. They bombed the strip. Jenner shot one down out of the lights and got hits on another. And Ack got a low flyer. He says the one next night flyers never saw them. One P-38 showed up 6 P-61s. And it's their own game. Captain Cy Homer relieved Jenner and got no shooting. Now, they had quite a time getting permission to go up at night. That was all anti-aircraft and night fighters. They finally got a chance to go up after red tape and so forth. And just remember, Jenner went up first, just before dark. And we all stood around and watched and waited. And they had it all set up so that as soon as this bomber came over, see, and got past the bomb point, that the anti-aircraft then would quit firing, see, because it was, they'd keep firing till they were sure he dropped his bomb, so then they were going to let him go and let the fighter take him, see. Well, but they kept firing. things were mixed up again. And he didn't get a shot at that thing until it was way out over the doggone water, and we couldn't even hardly see it anymore from the searchlight. And he called. We heard him calling on the radio. I forget. I was on this movie, and then later we went down to the strip, and he. By the time these planes come in, and he called and told them to quit firing. See, he made one pass, and then the burst, and he pulled up and didn't complete it because all the anti-aircraft fired. But even when the thing was just about out of range of the lights, he got one shot at it, and he knocked it down. See? And he waited around, and doggone if he didn't, another one come in, and the same thing, they didn't quit firing, see? So right at the last minute, he got a hit. He thought he got hits on it. But, I don't know if I make a note here, but a day or two later, a native came over from an island and reported that an aircraft had crashed on the island that night, the next island. And then it was finally, from the time, and they recognized it, that they confirmed him another aircraft. So he got two of them, see, just knocking them down out of the aircraft lights.
They called it all up.
Then they called it off. And the P-51 outfit then borrowed airplanes from another P-38 outfit to do the same thing. The 61 outfit. That's what I heard. And that was the last of it. Now, if you can think of duck soup, of knocking them down out of the air, out of those lights. It was easy. Even in the P-38, which is bad, they're firing at night because as soon as you fired it, you were blind. See? All you do is get in range and start firing, make a guess, and then pull up. See? Yeah, it was completely, you couldn't fire them at night. See? And so he got two, just like that. See? And but they wouldn't let him go up anymore. You can figure that one out. See? I think they were going to run out of jacks or something before the war was over. Well, there was a little discontent about that because the fellows were all hopped up. Boy, if we can get up there, one or two of us, every night. See? Take turns, just hang around till they get through dropping their bombs and we'll let us have them. See? It never worked out. Of course, the night fighters are better equipped for it, and they may have.
They were supposed to have radar.
Yeah, but they never did.
They never got it.
I never saw them shoot any out of the searchlights. And still, all these regular P-38 pilots, most of them had been trained for searchlight interception in the States. And that we never could get permission to use it. Because once it got dark, the night fighters, that was their... Yeah. But nobody told the night fighters they couldn't fly in the daytime. Well, I don't know what... We should have told them they couldn't fly in the daytime.
What then after that?
Well, then on the 27th of November, we went to noon for left more time. I went back in the B-25, and we got new airplanes at noon. All new airplanes. That was, I guess, preparation of going to Mindoro, up towards the Manila area, closer than Lady. They expected we'd really get it up there. We practiced a lot of tactics while we were at noon for painted up our new airplanes. I remember I really had some time there, all this dogfighting and a lot of flight tactics, practice attack and everything. I was really stiff and sore. I tell you, I was sick and everything else. It was really rough. Because some of those guys were pretty rough pilots. And they were really thought they were going to get it at Mindoro. But our new P-38 L5 was the one. L5, I think, was the last type.
Now they had a photo P-38 too.
I don't know what they call it. I can't remember. We used to just call them Photo Joes. You can just forget this, me made engineering officer, because that was just a fluke. Nothing happened there. Yeah, it was just a temporary thing. It was just more or less of a paper assignment. I didn't know nothing about this. I guess you didn't have to know anything anyway. Yeah, it was just to fill in while so you got somebody.
Australia. 25.
Yeah. Yeah, here on the 20th. On the 19th, we flew to Lady and got the 25 ships, and we got more. And on the 20th, we escorted the 15 bully beasts, which were, I think, the C-46s, they're called bully beasts. To Mindoro and back. That's just after they'd landed at Mindoro, and we escorted the aircraft up there to unload. We got there and started out, and the 36 got in a big fight over the field. They got 6. Yeah, over Mindoro. The new field at Mindoro, they got 6 of them. The 35th got 3. Lieutenant Anderson and his wingman were shot down. Both belly landed and got out, but the airplane's okay. I remember Anderson bellied in on fire, and he climbed out of the airplane. It was all blazing. And later on in the States, I saw a newsreel picture. And I recognized him. Yeah, they had a newsreel picture, a movie of this thing. That's when they started to get a lot of airplanes, knocking them down over Mindoro. It seems like I didn't have much luck. Flew patrol today, 3 flights. 2 flights contacted. Murphy got 2, Zinni got 1, Roth got 1, Fletcher got 1, Karate got 1, and we didn't see any. Okay? Local patrol again. I didn't fly. I had a cold. I don't know when we landed there. Score was 3-0. Schreiber got 1 Hinkies, and Zinni got another, and 23rd I didn't fly. We took turns with these, it was just so many on local patrol. We didn't have too many aircraft in condition. The script was bad. We were just keeping local patrol. See. Bombed last night, no particular results. 24th of December, local patrol, very quiet. We're way up here. 25th, that's when we really got it. That's when the Knicks caught me with my pants down, and I wanted to drive here. I was out in the And then 26th, when the Jap task force came in there and shelled the daggone thing, and they went out at night. Let's see what else. That's all written down. Local patrol. Ross cut on fire and bailed out. There's not a whole lot of stuff in here. I just can't remember. That's 29th December. On patrol, ran my nose really in a hole. Didn't get off. And I remember when Lieutenant Ray got the diner reconnaissance flight. Funny thing though, on this 25th of December, Christmas morning, that's when they really gave it to us. And it says here, I flew 6 hours. I took the first one handy, the first airplane. We had some planes were burning on the strip, and I took the first one I could get handy. It was a 36 airplane. 36 squadron airplane.